Today, I want to talk about one of the major abuses that have been going on in our communities across America, especially in the Nigerian community, but I strongly believe it cuts across all the African communities in America. To give perspective to what I'm trying to talk about, I thought I'll read you some lines from a work by Maya Angelou, one of America's brightest poets that ever lived. And it sets the tone for the message that I want to bring today, and it'll help you give perspective to my message. Maya Angelou said, "The power was never in your presence, but in your absence. You've been there before, answering every call, replying to every message, showing up when your heart was broken, and giving when your own cup was empty. Giving without limit does not make you more loved. It makes you more used." I don't know where you live, but I live in Chicago. But it really doesn't matter where you live. Chicago, Dallas, Houston, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Atlanta, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Detroit, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Little Rock, Arkansas. I could keep going on and on and on. It comes a time when you get tired of being everywhere for everyone. It is when this dawns on you that you actually start to realize that your power is not in being there. Your power is really in not being there. There are places you need to be, and you have to make time to be in those places. But those places you don't need to be, your power in those places is actually in not being there, because it's when you're not there that people, not just the people you don't attend their events, but the ones who you attend their events to, start to see and notice that, wow, you are not here. It may also be the time they start to realize that you showing up at their own event is something they really need to appreciate. Because a lot of times you make yourself so available that your worth becomes nothing. Your worth actually becomes the money you give and not the person you are. Your worth becomes the money you give and not the value you bring to the table. That even when you bring that value, as long as it's not equated to money, they don't appreciate your value. Your power is not in showing up. Your real power is in making them understand that you didn't show up. That's where your power lies. Hello, everybody. Once again, this is Fred Nwankwo coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Allen TV. And as usual, I like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, depending on where you are around the world. To build a community that works for everybody, sometimes there has to be a fall guy. In the line of work that I do, I'm a media person in our community. In this line of work, I'm damned if I talk and I'm damned if I don't. But I will talk because that's what I do in my line of work. Now to the bane of my discussion, and many of you can relate to the points I raise here. It comes to a time when your work should speak for you and your reputation for community involvement should precede you. You can't invent yourself overnight. So when you live in a community where misguidedly people only lay emphasis on money, everything about the Nigerian community, especially the Igbo community, it's about money. So you come to an event or you go to events every week, year in, year out, contributing in every little way you can, whether you're sweeping the floor or you're a caterer and you're giving them your food at about 40% discount, or you're a decorator and you're decorating the hall at about a 50% discount, or you do ladies' hairs and you come and they drew you down and you do it for way less. Regardless of what you do to contribute, and you show up at all the meetings, and you stay till everybody leaves. You help to clean up. In this community, none of that counts. The only thing that counts is how much you get. So when somebody shows up who has never been at any event in about 6 months and they show up 6 months later and give them $200, $500 or whatever, it negates everything you've contributed through the years. It makes you a non-entity. All the meetings you attended, all the ideas you gave, all the help you gave sweeping the hall, all the discounts you gave them on your food and your decorating and your DJ services, all those go for nothing in this community. All that counts is how much you gave. But what they also don't take into consideration is that if they pay you what you're worth, chances are you'll give them more than you gave. Probably give them more than this person who came in that haven't been to anything in 1 year, came and gave them 500 and they clap for him. But that's one aspect of it. Let's go to the other side of it. That's the side of people having fundraisers. Do we remember, at least in the Igbo community, do we remember how these fundraisers started? I think the first big one was one of our friends who died, was shot dead on the north side of Chicago. And friends and family got together to support and take his body home. And a lot of money was raised. A lot of money was rightfully raised. The guy was a great guy. And that set the tone for what we started doing consistently, which is if somebody died here, whether it's accident or natural death, we come together, we do what we do, we raise a lot of money and we send them home. If people's parents, mom or dad, die at home, or even legitimate stepmothers and stepfathers, we get together, we do what we do, we help our friend, our comrades, go home and bury their loved ones. Then it gradually, for some, expanded into siblings who died at home. The reason I said expanded for some of us is that many who actually are considerate of the rest of the society, when their siblings die, it's something that is handled by their close friends and family. They don't take it community-wide. But people start taking siblings community-wide. That's even tolerable. It's blood. But still, I think your siblings should be addressed by you and your friends and your close ones so that you could give room for the community. When the bigger things happen, like parents dying or people dying here, so people don't feel overstretched. But remember, I said with siblings, it's dicey. It's neither here or there, so we're still tolerating it. But now people are expanding it to sister-in-laws and brother-in-laws and every little opportunity to put something community-wide and have people uncomfortable thinking about what would they think if I don't contribute. Believe it or not, guys, I've seen situations where people are calling the community to go to WhatsApp Zelle groups and contribute money to go bury an ex-wife or an ex-husband who they have nothing to do with and have had nothing to do with since they got divorced. It was a bitter divorce. And they could care less what happened to those people when they were alive. But upon death, they want to raise money. Where is our conscience, guys? Now, that's the bane of this discussion. It's not what they think if you contribute or not. It's what your gut feeling tells you is right or wrong. Even the people who are putting those things know that what they are doing is wrong, but they are doing it because they have to push the button to the limit and see who is gullible. It's time for our community to establish, probably in a formal way in writing, what qualifies to be put on community-wide Zelle contributing. Folks, you don't have to be everywhere. You don't have to attend every event. If your reputation doesn't carry you at this stage, 10, 20, 30, 40 years in this country, it never will. You are who you are, and you are not who you are not. You are not going to impress anybody by giving or not giving. You impress people by who they've come to know you are. That's my message today. My message today is that your value is not in being there if you don't belong there. Your real value and your real respect comes from not being where you shouldn't be. So that the question comes up, why is he not here? Or why is she not here? And then the discussion is had. Well, he's not here because this event doesn't qualify for people who don't know the family well to be here. Let's stop taking advantage of a system that worked so well until we started abusing it. Getting together to help our brethren and our sisters who lost legitimate loved ones at home or here is something to be proud of. But now subjecting the community to raising money for you when you know that you're taking advantage of the community is something that should not be encouraged. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is Fred Wanko coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Island TV. And until next time, good night and God bless.
We've undertaken to make a difference. Our foundation is passionate about empowering communities and fostering growth. We are grateful for the opportunity. We invite you to follow us on our social media, Facebook and Instagram at Munacha Charity Support Foundation. You can also reach out to us via these platforms or through email if you have any questions. In the same vein, we'd like to extend our gratitude to all our supporters and partners.
Fred Wanko publisher, African Lifestyle Magazine, Chicago. One for the Chicago Jemba. Oh, yeah, to go gossip. I'm not going to give me. Oh, don't let me cheat. I'm a lady what idea one with Arabazzi. Hey! Let's go.